Sometimes the hardest pill to swallow is realizing you can't fix your grown children, your spouse, your siblings, or maybe even your own bestie. You know, the one who's ignoring red flags in her relationship, or she's exhausted from overgiving. Whoever it is, I know it's hard to realize that you've got to step back and reevaluate. You've prayed, you cried, you paid bills, you gave advice, you ran countless errands, and nearly lost your mind and sleep trying to save other people you love. But you know what? You're a lighthouse, and you're not meant to be somebody's lifeboat. This was a hard lesson for me to learn. God didn't call you to be a lifeboat. He called you to be a lighthouse. A lifeboat is designed to rescue people in danger. It goes out into the rough waters and picks up those who are drowning or stranded and carries them to safety. A lifeboat sacrifices and takes risk, and it carries the weight to save other people. Now, I'm talking to you now about emotional lifeboat. An emotional lifeboat is when you take on somebody else's problems as your own, and that's why you start to feel heavy. You interrupt their peace to save them. You interrupt their growth to save them. You carry them even when it drains you. You may delay your growth because you're focused on rescuing other people. That's why being a lighthouse is healthier. A lighthouse just stands strong, it shines bright, and it guides, but it doesn't leave its post or lose itself in the storm. I can't tell you how many times I got lost in someone else's storm. And so my Jewel Wellness tip today is to inspire you to learn to be a steady presence, a lighthouse, a calm and consistent light pointing toward healing, truth, and love. You were never meant to carry somebody else's journey. You're supposed to shine your light, and then eventually, hopefully, they'll find their way. That's love. That's faith. That's surrender. And sometimes as a parent, especially when your children are grown or making hard choices, or they're experiencing unemployment, sickness, addiction, divorce, they're emotionally unstable, you could feel completely powerless as a parent. You begin to question yourself. You begin to replay everything you said and everything you didn't say. And you wonder, did I fail them? Do I still matter? I have two sons, and when my oldest son was very ill with cancer and eventually passed, I felt so helpless. I felt powerless. I thought I could fix it. Let me say this. When you're feeling like you're not making a difference, I want you to know you still have influence. But influence doesn't always look like control. And that's what we are really trying to get, is control over things we can't change. Influence is in your prayers. It's in your quiet presence. It's in your consistency. And guess what? Your influence is the example of how you live. You may not be able to stop their storms. And let me tell you, I tried to stop many storms for my loved ones. But I had to realize I had to only be a lighthouse and not a lifeboat. And it's hard, especially for those that lean towards being givers and helpers and fixers. It's hard to watch people you care about struggle, especially when you've sacrificed so much. But just because they're not listening to you now doesn't mean your voice hasn't been planted deep in their spirit. Some seeds take time. You're not powerless. You're just in a new season. And hopefully my Jewel Wellness tip will help you today. Maybe you're in a season where you're experiencing quiet strength and your love is steady and your role is now to shine and not swim out and rescue somebody. They may drift, but they'll remember your light when they're ready. You may be in a tough, sacred space that a lot of people don't talk about. And I do a lot of coaching. And that space is experiencing a role reversal, the exhaustion of caregiving for parents. And you now have the responsibility for caring for them. They used to care for you, and now everything falls on you. And it's a layered, emotional, and complicated situation. Or maybe you're the caregiver for your spouse, and there are days when you want to honor them and days you want to scream when you're caregiving, days when you feel like the adult, and days when resentment and old wounds start to creep back up in your mind. You're showing up, you're managing medications and moods and memories and appointments while carrying the emotional weight that they may never apologize for or ever say thank you. Or maybe it's your grown child that is living a life that breaks your heart. You raised them, you poured into them, you prayed for them, and now they're making choices that you don't even recognize. You can't relate to their lifestyle. Maybe you don't even respect it. But let me say this. You are not failing. You are not powerless. You are not alone. You are human. And this is part of the human experience. And this is why I do the work that I do in coaching one-on-one, because I help women to understand you can care for your parents and still have boundaries. You can love your grown child and still not agree with their lifestyle. You can let go without giving up. You could be a lighthouse, which means you shine consistently, but not with conditions. And that's difficult, I know, because sometimes we will say, if you do this, I will love you. But real love is the ability to love consistently without conditions. You can guide with love, but not control. You can stay rooted in your truth even when it hurts. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to carry the emotional cost of someone else's choices. You have to protect your light because someone else will need it. And sometimes it's not your own family members. Yeah. This is real love. It's a mature love. It's a holy love when you can stay open even when your heart aches. You're doing the sacred work even if no one ever says thank you. You can't control their choices. You can't walk their path, but you can pray and you can learn to trust. And I know that's difficult. You can protect your peace while holding space for their growth. Let them find their way while you stay rooted and focused and in alignment with your own purpose. Because guess what? You're still growing also. You're not giving up on your loved ones. You're just learning to allow everyone to walk in their individual path of growth. Givers and fixers. And I fall in that category. Givers and fixers, we often confuse doing with loving. We think if we give more, fix more, sacrifice more, that's love. But real love isn't about losing yourself to save someone else. True love knows boundaries. True love knows that no is a complete sentence. True love shows up with patience and compassion, not at the expense of their heart, their time, their finances, or their peace. I have come to really understand, and this is why I'm sharing my Jewel Wellness tips with you today, that you can love deeply and still guard your soul. You can be available without being used. You can pray for people without paying for their patterns. I teach a lot about this in my sessions, my one-on-one sessions, and even in my live lectures. I talk about patterns. You have to become a people's patterns. Live in the reality of what their patterns are and stop paying for their patterns. This is not being cold. This is being wise. Because real love is knowing when to step back and let folks sit in their own choices. It's called patience, not punishment. You're not punishing anybody. It's being kind without being a doormat. And you can still love them and still say, not with my money, not with my peace, not today. This is not being mean. This is being smart. And I believe being spirit-led. So my Jewel Wellness tip for you today is to protect your heart, protect your money, protect your peace, protect your mind. God bless you, and thank you so much for listening, and You may want to share this link with someone that you know is traveling down this path of feeling like they've lost influence and lost their peace and losing money trying to fix and save other people. Tell them to stop being a lifeboat and just be a lighthouse.